Hello, Aquarius, Sun, Rising, and Venus, and welcome to your reading. So, Aquarius, today we're going to go over your energy as well as your person's energy. We're going to see how the both of you are currently viewing this relationship and how you guys feel about it, and what actions you guys plan on taking each other's direction and are moving forward. So, with all that being said, Aquarius, let's get started. How does Aquarius currently view this relationship? All right, let's see what's going on. So we do have the Five of Swords, we do have the Four of Pentacles, and then we also have the Hangman out here, okay? The bottom of the deck, we do have the Eight of Cups. Let's focus on the Eight of Cups really quickly here. So it looks like you walked away from a situation, okay? This could definitely be with somebody that you had like a situationship with. Of course, this could definitely represent somebody that you were married to or in a relationship with, but it kind of looks like you walked away from this relationship primarily because you found it very challenging and very difficult for you to essentially trust this person that you were essentially dealing with in the recent past. So there's a possibility that this person could have given you a reason to not trust them. Of course, there's also a possibility that this could have a lot to do with, like, you know, past traumas, making it very hard for you to lower your guard down with this person as well as trust them. But it just kind of looks like you just had a very difficult time overall, you know, trusting this person, regardless if this individual gave you a reason to, you know, not, you know, trust them, you know, or not, is basically what I'm getting. Okay, let's keep going. How does this person currently view this relationship with Aquarius? Okay, so we do have the Ten of Cups, we do have the Judgment card, as well as the Three of Cups. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Ace of Swords. So here's the thing, Aquarius, and I'm just being honest and transparent with you, okay? It kind of looks like your energy is kind of leaning far more towards you had a difficult time trusting this person primarily because of things that you personally have been through. It could also have a lot to do with the fact that there could be certain things that this person does that in your eyes you might perceive to be, you know, because I am definitely getting, for some of you, that's the case where it's like there's certain things that this person does that cause you to think that this person is, you know, someone that is just simply untrustworthy, just based off of the things that they essentially do, I guess, that cause you to think that, okay, like this means that they're an untrustworthy person because they do X, Y, and Z. Making it very hard for you to trust this person, that's definitely a possibility, or this could just have a lot to do with your past. But it's kind of leaning more towards that than, okay, this person actually, like, you know, like cheated on you and did this and this, then the third to you. It doesn't appear to me that that's what actually occurred here, okay? And here's why I'm kind of basically saying this to you. We do have the Ace of Swords out here. So the Ace of Swords for me as a reader, you know, it represents clarity. You know, it also represents, you know, communication. And it also represents, you know, a symbol of trust for me as a reader. So with that being said, you are definitely connecting, or you were in this case, you know, connecting with somebody who was being very honest and transparent with you, even though you may have had a hard time accepting that or even believing that. And you were definitely dealing, you know, with somebody who wasn't out here, you know, betraying your trust. You're betraying your trust. And what I mean by that is, you know, they weren't out here like entertaining other men, entertaining other women, you know, cheating on you with other men, cheating on you with other women. That's basically what I'm referring to, that they didn't do anything in regards to that to essentially break your trust. Now, granted, did this person do other things outside of what I just mentioned? That, you know, caused you to possibly think that they're an untrustworthy person? That's more than likely a possibility. But as far as like them being sexually involved with somebody else, doesn't appear to me that that's what happened. You know, as far as like them like entertaining another individual and things of that nature, it appears to me that that's not what occurred here. So granted, this person could have broken your trust in other ways, but it's definitely not in the ways that I essentially mentioned, as far as them being sexually involved with somebody else, or, you know, them entertaining somebody else, you know, things of that nature. I feel like this person says what they mean and means what they say. Like, this is somebody who truly does love you. This is somebody who truly does care about you. And this is somebody who truly doesn't want to essentially lose you. And this is somebody who does come off to me as somebody who, you know, hasn't broken your trust in that manner, like as far as like, you know, being sexually involved with somebody else, entertaining somebody else, you know, things of that nature. How does Aquarius currently feel? Okay, we have the You know, okay, I feel like that's kind of what's going on here. You are showing up as a King of Swords, regardless of your gender. Male or female doesn't matter. We all have masculine and feminine energy within us. Now, for those of you who don't know this, when you see the King of Swords or the Queen of Swords, especially for those of you who do tarot, it's really important that you know this about the King and the Queen of Swords. So the King and the Queen of Swords are two people who are known for, unfortunately having like really bad like experiences in love, making it very hard for like the King of Swords as well as the Queen of Swords to trust a person again, be vulnerable with a person again, primarily because of everything that they personally experienced in previous relationships. You are showing up as a King of Swords. Now here's one thing that I will say: despite everything that you've experienced in prior relationships, when it came down to this particular person, you had every desire within you to want to essentially love again, to not want your past to continue to haunt you or affect you or even prevent you from being happy again. And it kind of looks like when you were with this person, you were trying your hardest, man, to not allow past experiences, things of that nature, to like haunt you and affect you. But it does appear to me that, it was, definitely affecting you throughout the course of your relationship with this person, making this journey between the two of you very challenging and very difficult for you. Completely understandable. I mean, you are showing up as a King of Swords. So, I mean, it's understandable, as to why it was so challenging and difficult for you to lower your guard down with this person as well as trust this person. But here's one thing that I will say. With the King of Cups to the King of Pentacles, that's kind of telling me that despite the fact that you didn't necessarily trust this person, this is somebody that you really did love and care for dearly. This is somebody that you truly gave, your all to. And that was a very scary thing for you to essentially do, given everything that you essentially been through. This is definitely not a walk in the park as far as this dynamic between the two of you is concerned, because of everything that you've been through. You also have to keep in mind that you're dealing with somebody who cannot relate to you and the things that you've been through. So the trauma that you carry around with you and everything that you had to endure and everything that you experienced and all of these things are not things that this person could essentially, relate to you on. Okay. So, that's just another thing that I wanted to just kind of point out there, is that you can sit here and tell this person why you are the way that you are and how you went through this, that, and the third, and this is why you are the way that you are, but they're never going to be able to fully understand you or relate to you because they haven't necessarily been through that themselves. You're not dealing with somebody who has trust issues here. You're not dealing with somebody who's still being haunted or affected by past traumas and experiences that they've had with other people. You're just simply not. So they're never going to understand you and where you're coming from and how challenging and difficult this journey truly is for you, because it is. I mean, it's showing up in your energy that this journey between the two of you has been far from fucking easy. Far from fucking easy. Okay, let's keep going. How does this person currently feel? Now, with the Eight of Pentacles to the Moon to the Nine of Swords coming out here, here's the thing. This person truly does love you and truly does want to build and establish a life with you. However, your way of being, as far as like feeling like you can't trust them and, things of that nature, it truly is definitely, stressing this person out and affecting this person. All they want is for this relationship between the two of you to work. But as time goes by, this person is starting to essentially feel like maybe this relationship between the two of you guys is just never going to essentially work, because you don't trust them, because you continue to think the things that you think, because you continue to remain guarded, because you continue to press them, because you continue to question them. I mean, the list goes on and on. And as much as they want this relationship to work, they kind of feel like at times it's just not going to essentially work because of the way that you've been showing up in this dynamic here between the two of you. And at times, I'm gonna be honest, the way that you are with this person and within this dynamic here between the two of you, it does cause this person to feel extremely defeated. But as much as it causes this person to feel extremely defeated within this dynamic, it just kind of looks like giving up on you is just simply not an option in their mind. Now, I want to make something very crystal clear here. I don't necessarily believe that you want to show up in this manner within this dynamic here between the two of you. I don't. And to be completely honest, I don't think anybody would want to essentially show up um in this manner within a relationship with anybody. I just kind of feel like what you've been through has definitely affected you severely to the point where it is affecting you within your relationship with this person. I also want to make something crystal clear here that none of this is your fault. You didn't ask to get betrayed, you didn't ask to get deceived, you didn't ask to go through all the shit that you basically went through. It just kind of looks like somebody did you terribly wrong, and that person moved forward and moved on with your life, and you're left to essentially, put the pieces back together. You know what I mean? And learn to love again, and learn to trust another person again, and be vulnerable with another person again. So none of this that you're essentially going through are things that you essentially asked for. Therefore, no, I don't believe that, you just wanted to show up in this manner within this, dynamic. No, I just kind of feel like, given everything that you've been through, this is why you are the way that you are. It's not like you want to be this way. It just kind of looks like things that you've experienced in the past has caused you to now become, this person that is very, very guarded, that has a very, very difficult time trusting people, things of that nature. I also feel like your person needs to be very realistic when it comes down to you. Okay? Because this person has this unrealistic expectation upon you is basically what I'm getting. It's like they just basically expect you to just turn around and instantly trust them like that. And it's not going to play out that way. That's kind of like the epitome of somebody wanting, and I just said this in a reading, that's like the epitome of somebody wanting to lose 20 pounds and expects to go to the gym one fucking time and then leave that gym 20 pounds later. It's just never going to happen. Granted, within time, yes, you'll lose that 20 pounds. But if you think that you're just going to lose 20 pounds just going to the gym one freaking time for like 1 or 2 hours, or even 3 hours, or even 4 hours, you're not gonna leave that gym 20 pounds lighter. Although that would be extremely freaking awesome. It would be extremely awesome if that were the case. We all know that that's remotely impossible. And when it comes down to you and this expectation that they have on you, what they're anticipating / expecting out of you is very, very unrealistic. Okay? This person cannot expect you to just instantly turn around and just trust them like that, because it's not going to play out that way. It's going to take time. We have the Four of Swords, we do have the Strength card, and then we also have the Lovers out here. At the bottom of the deck, we do have the Ten of Swords. Okay. Okay. So in regards to how you plan on moving forward, okay, if the two of you broke up or whatever the case may be, because you felt like you just couldn't trust them to the point where you just couldn't take it anymore, listen, I see you guys basically getting back together, because at the end of the day, this is somebody that you love, and this is somebody that you want to essentially be with, okay? Now, with all of that being said, Aquarius, I do see you basically harnessing the energy of, you know what, I'm going to just let go of the past and not continue to allow the past to haunt me and or affect me anymore from this day forward. I'm just not going to let it haunt me, and I'm just not going to let it affect me. I think that you're placing unrealistic expectations upon yourself by telling yourself, you know what, today's going to be the day where I'm just not going to allow my past to haunt me and or affect me. It's going to take time. I'm going to be honest. I'm not going to say that you're never going to get over all the stuff that you've been through, because you will. But I don't want you to set this unrealistic expectation upon yourself by telling yourself, okay, today is going to be the day where I'm never going to allow my past to haunt me or affect me anymore, because I don't want to lose this person, because I really do want this relationship to work, whatever have you. Don't set any sort of unrealistic expectations upon yourself, because given everything that you essentially went through, it looks like it's going to take some time before you officially heal from everything that you essentially went through. It looks like it's going to take some time before you fully learn to trust this individual, okay? It's kind of like the epitome of you telling yourself, okay, I'm going to go to the gym, and I'm gonna only go for like, an hour or two, and when I do leave the gym, I'm gonna be 20 pounds lighter. Although that would be awesome, although that would be great, that is you setting a very unrealistic expectation upon yourself, and that's kind of what I see you doing in the near future. Because what I fear is going to happen is that you're going to get discouraged. Because if you sit there and tell yourself, okay, today's going to be the day that I'm not going to allow my past to haunt me and or affect me, and then you continue to proceed forward in this dynamic here, and then you get this intrusive thought out of fucking nowhere, you get this intrusive thought, and you start thinking to yourself, man, this person's probably doing this or probably doing that. You know what, matter of fact, they actually are doing this, they actually are doing that, without you having any sort of proof or evidence, and you just start believing that that's what this person is doing. You know what I mean? and then you turn around, you start accusing them of all these things. You know what I mean? Like, you might look at that as like a massive, setback, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, it kind of looks like, given everything that you've been through, it kind of appears to me that you do get triggered and you do get intrusive thoughts. That's why I'm saying, like, as you're on this journey towards healing from your past, don't sit there and tell yourself that you're never going to allow your past to haunt you or affect you anymore, because within 2 weeks from now, you might get an intrusive thought to the point where you believe it. Within 2 weeks from now, they might do something to trigger you into thinking, oh shit, they're up to no good. You know what I mean? Then what? Then what? Are you just going to turn around and just say, you know what, I guess this person, in this relationship is just not in the not in the cards for me. Like, I don't want you to do that. I don't want you to do that. Just know that you will essentially heal, but in time. Okay? So we do have the Knight of Wands. We do have the Fool. We also have the Queen of Cups. And then we also have the Wheel of Fortune. Despite the fact that this entire situation between the two of you does, stress this person out and, gives them anxiety, and the list goes on and on. I think that because primarily this person's so, in love with you, they're willing to, like, go on this journey with you, no matter how stressful it becomes, no matter how difficult it becomes. So I think it's safe to say that you got somebody by your side that truly does love you and cares about you and is willing to, walk this journey with you, no matter how fucking challenging and difficult it may get. And it makes sense as to why the universe is sending somebody like this into your life, because that's exactly what you need. You need somebody who's not going to give up on you. You need somebody, who's going to be understanding and compassionate and patient, with you. That's exactly what you need by your side, and that's exactly what you have. So I do see you guys working things out. I do see you guys getting back together if you guys did essentially break up. But I really do need you to be very realistic with yourself as you're on this healing journey. Expect to have intrusive thoughts. Expect to have those moments where this person does something to trigger you into thinking they're probably doing X, Y, and Z when in actuality they're not. Expect those things, because if you're over here telling yourself, okay, that's it, today's going to be the day where I'm not going to allow my past to haunt me or affect me, and then you mess around and get an intrusive thought, you're going to fall into this Ten of Swords energy. And that basically means you're going to fall into an energy of, you know what, I guess this relationship is just not for me. I guess love is just not in the cards for me. You know what, I guess I should just give up and stop freaking trying. I guess I'm never going to overcome my past traumas. I guess this is just going to forever haunt me. I don't want you to fall into that energy, because once you start to fall into that energy, you're going to start to convince yourself that there is no fucking way possible for you to overcome these past traumas, which I'm telling you right now that there is a way to overcome these past traumas, but this whole unrealistic expectation that you're setting upon yourself, it is not a good idea, Aquarius. Expect to have intrusive thoughts. Expect to get triggered into thinking, this person's probably doing this and this and this because look, they went, a whole hour without texting me, so they're probably doing this and this and this. And you see what I mean? Like, expect yourself to have those moments. You know what I mean? As you're on this healing journey, expect yourself to have these moments, but also expect yourself to heal from these past traumas, to the point where it's not haunting you or affecting you anymore. Okay, that's all that I'm saying here, is be very realistic with yourself as you're on this healing journey. Okay, and if in the event, that's another thing too, Aquarius, if in the event, because right now you're kind of harnessing the energy of trying to figure it all out by yourself with, of course, this person's help and assistance, but looking at this person, especially with the Eight of Swords to the Nine of Swords to the Moon, this is another thing that I want you to kind of take into consideration. This person doesn't really know how to gain your trust. Let's just be real. They don't know how to heal you from your past traumas. They don't know how to stop you from experiencing intrusive thoughts. They don't know how to prevent you into thinking that they're probably doing this, down the third because they just did this, down the third. You know what I mean? Like, your person doesn't know how to do these things. Okay, so even though it's great that you have this person by your side that's willing to walk down this journey with you through the good and the bad times, right? Even though I think that that's wonderful, also be realistic with yourself here. This person doesn't know how to heal you. They do not know how to prevent you from thinking the worst when it comes down to them. They don't know how to help you overcome these traumas that you're essentially facing. And I do see you trying to figure it out on your own as far as overcoming these traumas yourself. But if it does get to that point where you feel like, damn, I'm just not really seeing any sort of fucking progress, I'm still feeling like this, I'm still thinking this, I'm still thinking that, that is like your sign right then and there, Aquarius, to start considering and seeking, outside help, like by going to, going to like a therapist, things of that nature. Because right now you're kind of on this healing journey, trying to figure it all out by yourself. And yeah, you might find yourself, still feeling like you can't trust them, or still thinking this or still thinking that. And that's okay if you do end up in that energy. It's totally fine and it's totally normal. At the end of the day, we're not presented with a fucking, we're not presented with a book to, heal from, this and heal from that, and how to heal from this and how to heal from that, and the proper steps to heal from this and the proper steps to heal from that. Like, we're not provided with a book that exist, out there that's like that, guides us every little step of the way when it comes down to overcoming this trauma and that trauma and this trauma and that trauma. We're not provided with a damn book like that. I wish we were, but we're not. We're absolutely not. You know what I mean? So if you ever find yourself essentially feeling like, damn, like I just don't know how to get over this, and I just don't know how to get over that, trust me, you ain't the only one. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people out there that don't know how to overcome certain things in life. And that's perfectly fine, and it's perfectly normal. Everybody goes through it. But if it's one thing that I will say, is that if you ever find yourself feeling like, damn, no matter what I freaking do, I still find myself thinking this, I still find myself feeling this way, definitely consider and seeking outside help. Because I think that if you were to, seek outside help, you'll be able to, overcome the things that you're struggling with, essentially overcoming all by yourself. Okay. Because this person to the right of me, they can only do so much, dude. You know what I mean? They can only do so much. So I don't want you to have this like expectation of them knowing, exactly what you need to do to overcome your past traumas, because they don't. And I already kind of sensed that off of them to begin with. It's this whole, I just want Aquarius to trust me like that. Right off the bat, that's already telling me that this person they don't have experience when it comes down to dealing with somebody who has trust issues, or the traumas that you carry around with you. They don't have experience in that, and they don't know how to gain your trust. They just don't, and they don't know how to help you overcome, your, traumas, and that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with this person not knowing how to help you. There's nothing wrong with that. I don't think this person's a therapist or a psychologist. Neither am I, but I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, your person just comes off to me as somebody who doesn't know, and that's okay. But that's why I'm telling you that as you're on this journey trying to figure it out by yourself, if you ever find yourself feeling stuck, consider seeking outside help. Definitely consider seeking outside help when it comes down to the things that you're struggling with overcoming. Because I promise you, dude, if you seek outside help, you're going to get the help that you need, and you're going to be able to overcome the things that you're currently struggling with overcoming. Okay. But don't look at this person to save you from it all. Don't look at this person to like heal you from it all, because it's never going to happen. They could try to put your mind at ease. They could reassure you, they could prove to you that you're tripping. They could do that, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like, they're not going to save you. I'm telling you right now, they're not going to save you. They're not going to heal you from your past traumas. So don't even fool yourself into thinking, this is going to be the person that's going to heal you. This is going to be the person that's going to save you from it all, because they're not. They're going to help you in the ways that they can by, like, soothing, I guess, your anxiety, proving to you that you're tripping, proving to you that you're wrong, that they're not actually out here doing X, Y, and Z. They'll do that. And I think that in itself is a lot. That in itself, it is a lot. And it goes to show how down this person is to essentially help you. But as far as them, freeing you from all your past traumas and everything that you've been through and healing you from it all, they don't know how to do that. They don't know how to do that. That's what I'm saying. They cannot save you. They cannot save you. The only person that could essentially save you in this particular situation is you. So if you find yourself struggling with certain things, as far as your trauma is concerned, Seek the help that you essentially need, because you're the only one that can save you from everything that you've been through. You know what I mean? This is not a life sentence that we're talking about here. I just kind of feel like if you set this unrealistic expectation upon yourself, like, okay, I'm never going to allow myself to experience another intrusive thought, or I'm never going to allow myself to go through this, or I'm never going to allow myself to, go through that anymore, as far as allowing my past to, have such a massive hold and or effect on me. You know what I mean? Like, you're setting yourself up for failure by having that unrealistic expectation, you know, upon yourself. And I'm just kind of worried and concerned that you're going to fall so deeply into this Ten of Swords energy, where you're going to start to convince yourself that this past trauma that you carry around with you, that continues to haunt you and affect you in every relationship you get in, is a life sentence, when in all actuality it's not. It's not a life sentence. And I don't want you to fool yourself into thinking that it is, because if it was, I would have just told you straight up, yo, this past trauma that you carrying around with you, yeah, that's going to be for life. Because it's not. And it's basically, I mean, with the Four of Swords coming out here, that's like Spirit's way of showing you, you could totally overcome everything that you're struggling with. You can. It's possible. This is not a life sentence that we're talking about here. You could overcome this, and you will overcome it. You just have to apply yourself and do what you got to do on your end to reach this point of officially healing from your past. Okay, so that's what I have for you. Hopefully the reading helped. Hopefully it resonated, and I will see you guys in your next reading.